12 months ago, I did the unthinkable and I switched to Apple via a MacBook Pro, but I actually think I regret it. Let's go. To say I've been a lifelong Samsung user is probably a bit of an understatement. And by lifelong, I mean like within a lifespan of someone. Obviously, I haven't been using Samsung since I was born. You get my point. I use Samsung for everything. I was happy. I had my pain points, but overall, I was pretty content. Maybe it was blissful ignorance, but I was there. But let me tell you, MacBooks are just so good. They're too good, in fact, that the regret I have is that I didn't live in that blissful ignorance long enough, because now I can't go back. It's impossible. I'm stuck. I used to scoff at people and turn my nose up at people who sat in cafes and used the MacBooks to do their work. I thought they were so much better than everyone else. Well, let me tell you, they are. I used to use my Samsung laptop and thought I was better myself because I was going against the grain. I was alternative. But no, I was wrong and they were right, because there's a reason why they're using it. There's a reason why the creative industry in general is using Macs as their main source of workflow. It's because they are hands down the best machine for that productivity. So after 12 months of that usage, let's break down the experience as to why I believe so and why it's going to make it really hard for me to go back. The first, and it's a surprise that I'm saying this is the first one, but it's Mac OS. Now, in my MacBook Neo video, I absolutely spoke about the pain points that I have with Mac OS. Those haven't gone away, and I think a lot of them, they could be solved by buying third-party applications. But that's the part I really have a problem with, is you need to have a third-party app to just make it work like Windows, and you've got to pay for them. I'm not about that, so I just put up with the pain points that I've got. But for the industry I'm working in, there's a couple of features that just absolutely suit me to a T that I just can't look back now. The first one is the spacebar preview. Now, I know in general, Mac OS has a lot of keyboard shortcuts that Apple users love to talk about, but this one in particular for me has just been an absolute game changer. The speed and efficiency of just pressing the spacebar on a video file and then having it play and then being able to spacebar it closed is just unbelievable. That renders the mouse unimportant, and I don't need to worry about double clicking and going over to the mouse. I can literally just press that spacebar down. You could also hold the spacebar and it'll then just keep it open for the duration of holding it. And then when you release the spacebar, closes the video. That's also convenient too if you just want to really quickly check something and don't want to have it open. But I just love that whole sort of workflow, because to go with that, I can just press enter once I've closed the video and then rename the file. And that all can be done very, very efficiently, very quickly, right from there. The second part of macOS that I actually find really useful for what I do in particular is the folder structure. Now, it's not perfect. It just, for some reason, always resets on me, the preference that I've begun. But when I've got it set up to have the folder structure where everything is seen in a row, it actually makes it really easy to work between folders, drag and drop, and just see the file that I'm working with. It kind of reminds me of that old start menu from Windows where one thing leads to the next, and you can just see the whole flow of where you started and where you've ended up. That visual for me is actually quite important, because if I need to move something between folders, or if I need to preview something on the right-hand side, I've got it all there laid out in front of me. That's probably about it for macOS. Those two things just really give me a really nice experience and make it easier to do what it is that I do. Whether it be macOS on the big monitor that I've got right next to me, or it'll be macOS on my smaller MacBook Neo, or if I use it out and about in a MacBook Pro, those two things make it so easy for me to use. The next facet that I kind of been enjoying that I maybe didn't expect to so much is the build quality of MacBooks and Macs in general. The attention to detail that Apple have with the whole Mac lineup is second to none. I particularly love the whole Mac Studio and Mac Mini form factor. I love the industrial nature of the slightly rounded corners but still boxy looking design. It's very Note. It's actually almost, dare I say it, very Samsung. When you consider too that those form factors, the Mac Studio, I don't have a Mac Mini, but the Mac Mini, but then also the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Neo, for the form factor that they are, with the performance that they offer, they marry together really, really nicely. When you consider that the Mac Studio is a full-on crazy editing studio that just fits and slides comfortably in my desk and a design looks really nice too, it's aesthetically pleasing, yeah, you can't be mad at that. And then for the laptop side, you've got the easy lid opening, which makes it really easy to get into your work. You've got the incredibly enjoyable typing experience, the very tactile trackpad. Everything goes really nicely together. But I think the best part of what Apple does in their design of these machines is the inspiration that it provides others. Take keyboards, for example. Typing is a heavily tactile experience, one that a lot of people like to feel and even hear at times, and it just adds to your productivity workflow. When you use machines like these, you want to make sure the tactile typing experience kind of slots in alongside it, both from a tactile point of view, but also a visual one. I've just started using the Low Free Flow 2 for Mac as my main keyboard across my Mac ecosystem. And this is the great thing about it, is it's pretty much been designed exclusively to suit and work with the Mac ecosystem, both from a design point of view, but also from a function. You can consider the nebula color that I've got here to be pretty much a perfect match for the navy blue that I've got in my iPhone 17 Pro Max. And it also matches the MacBook Neo that I never ended up getting in that color, I mean. It has such a sweet sound too. And the tactile feel of typing is unmatched. You just want to lay the keyboard down and use it. And especially fun if you lay it over the top of your MacBook Neo and use it that way as well. It's a full-sized Mac keyboard as well. And what's great is it actually aligns perfectly with the Mac keyboard. So the Command key, for example, lines up perfectly with the X key on top of it, which is exactly the same way that the Mac keyboard works, which means you're going to get a seamless transition from using Apple's keyboard to this one, because it just easily mirrors across. Everything is in the same place that it should be. There's no adjustment period. It's got some nifty tricks about it as well. Like it's got a little volume slider on the right-hand side that you can slide up and down, and it'll change the volume on the device you're using. It's one of the best keyboards I have used, and it's perfect for your Macs that you have at home. Use the link in the description, and thanks to Lowfree for sponsoring this video. Possibly the best part of the Mac experience, though, in the last 12 months is the performance. It's unrivaled at this stage, and I've had a tilt at other laptops in the last few weeks, both of them from ASUS. And whilst they're gaming-focused laptops, they just don't have the overall complete performance picture that a MacBook does for the industry I need it to work in. But it isn't just about a performance at its peak level or the ceiling, it's the sustained performance. It's the efficient performance. The fact I can take a MacBook Pro from 5 years ago. Remember, my MacBook Pro is an M1 Max from 2021, and I can edit videos away from home without any performance drops off battery power is mind-blowing to me. And then the fact I've got a MacBook Neo running an iPhone chip, running a great performance away from battery is also wild. Then my desktop setup, my Mac Studio, which is running an M2 Ultra chip, then you've just got a whole nother level of performance, which unlocks efficiency and workflow like you've never had before. I don't hear a single thing from this machine. Nothing. No matter what load I put it under, I can't hear that it's even here. So after 12 months of using exclusively MacBooks or Mac Studio, I can't go back. And that sucks. And I've tried to go back. I've tried to use a $6,000 gaming laptop, a $13,000 dual screen laptop, and neither one has been able to give me the experience that the Mac ecosystem does. If you don't video edit or sort of do anything really of the creative side of things, then I don't really think there's actually a need for MacBooks for you in general. Realistically, this exists as like a tool. Like the way a builder uses a drill, they need that drill to get their job done. This is the same thing. A MacBook is just basically a tool that a creator has to have. They just have to. If I was a writer, I wouldn't get a Mac. It would all be exclusively Windows because of that productivity that it's got. But because I am the field I'm in, there's just no other choice. And if you think there's even a chance that you might edit some family vlogs or touch up some family photos or just anything that might be lightly creative, don't hesitate. Get a MacBook today. Just warning though, you'll regret it because of how good it is. Hit subscribe to take the benefits. Make sure you go check out the link for Lowfree down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yoo!